Oxford, England, the Ashmolean Museum of Art and Archaeology. Among the hundreds of historic artifacts on display is an ancient Sumerian cuneiform text. Dating back to at least 2000 BC, the four-sided clay document is a list of kings who lived far longer than the average human lifespan.
In the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford, there's an astounding artifact. It's referred to as WB44, the Sumerian Kings List. On one panel, it tells us about 8 kings that ruled over 5 cities. And what's astounding about this is the length of the reigns of these kings. One king is said to have ruled for 43,200 years. Another king rules for 28,000 years. It's astounding.
Curiously, the Sumerian Kings List is not the only ancient record of rulers who lived for centuries.
A curious document was found in a tomb in Luxor, and it's called the Turin Kings List. We only have fragments of this document, but what this document lays out is that many of the really early Egyptian pharaohs had lives that were many hundreds of years, and that some of these pharaohs lived for 700, 800, 900 years. We have a similar story in the Bible of Methuselah, and that he's said to have lived for 969 years. So how is it that people are able to live such great ages?
Is it merely coincidence that in 3 different ancient traditions, there are records of their earliest leaders living impossibly long lives? Curiously, in all 3 cultures, it was also recorded that during the time when people lived to these incredible ages, humans shared the earth with beings who came down from the sky.
The ancient Egyptians referred to a time called the first time, when the gods walked among men. Ancient Egyptian creation mythology tells us that these original god beings came from the stars. This sounds very much like the arrival of the Anunnaki, the divine lords of light of the Sumerian tradition, when they arrived atop Mount Kurzak. It's also virtually identical to the arrival of the Watchers. The Watchers are the angels of the Old Testament. They are the fallen angels who came to earth and intermingled with humans.
The Watchers, like divine beings in many other ancient cultures, were referred to as immortals, but often they were described as having very human-like traits.
There were 200 of these Watchers, and they were led by an individual named Samjazi. They shone. There was a translucence. There was an aura about them that was as bright as the sun. But they seemed to be more human in their appetites than one would like to believe. They're hungry, they eat, they want affection, they lust. I think that the Watchers most definitely are extraterrestrials who came to Earth.
Countless ancient original cultures speak of a time when the gods descended from the sky and mingled with people to impart their knowledge. Ancient Egypt, ancient China, ancient Sumeria, ancient Japan, ancient Greece. And so I think the different cultures were visited by the same teachers, who were extraterrestrials.
Could it be that the earliest human civilizations shared the Earth with visitors from another world? And if so, is this somehow connected to the ancient records of people who lived extraordinarily long lives? Ancient astronaut theorists suggest an important clue can be found in a famous verse from the Bible that is often mistranslated. In many English versions of the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 27 states that God created man in his own image. But in the original Hebrew, instead of his image, it says our image.
God says in Genesis, let us make man in our image. Well, you have to say, well, who is our? Who are the other people there? Well, the word God in Hebrew is Elohim, and that is plural.
If you look at the original Hebrew in which this sentence was written, all of a sudden you have the truth. Because according to the ancient astronaut theory, someone came and someone altered our DNA in order for us to become humans and essentially gave us more intelligence.